there. Welcome to Red State Update. My name's Jackie Bros.
Folks, people, it's Dunlap.
Welcome to episodes 2 of Trump Court or Trial.
Trump Court.
Is it Trump Court or Trump Trial?
I decided. I don't know if we decided. I can't remember what is Trump Court. Well, Trump Court sounded like a TV show. We said that last week. Trump Trial, I guess. Is it?
Maybe it's Trump Court.
I don't.
Trump Trial.
It don't matter. It's the same thing. He's in the courtroom. It's a trial. It's whatever. We're here to talk about what happened. And we had another week of it. I'm already used to it. They said last week everybody kept saying, oh, my Lord, it's a historic moment. First time president ever been on criminal trial. Now it seems like it always been that way to me.
Yeah, him sitting there slumped over in a picture drawn by somebody. That seems the way it always has been.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd settle for this. If you had to hear about Trump every day for the rest of your life, but it was just a picture of him, that wouldn't be so bad.
And the picture looks just as bad as he does, whoever doing it. I mean, and I ain't saying the art's bad. I'm just saying they drawing him good because it don't look good in it. You know, some people try to draw him. You know, they put his head on Rocky's body, or who else they put it on? Jesus, or who? I can't remember all the bodies they put his head on. Like that don't. It could look as good as it is, and it just looks silly to me. I'm sorry, that's how it looks silly to me. I don't understand that. Why they do that?
And make that money. Jesus money. Or doctor money.
That's what his Bible for. Does the Bible have his head on, the Trump Bible have his head on Jesus' body in the pictures? Or Lee Greenwood's head on Jesus' body? Are they just standing there with him?
I think in the Lee Greenwood Bible, Lee Greenwood looks enough like Jesus that if you squint, you can't tell which one's which. You're either like, well, Jesus getting a little thin up top.
It works for you either way, whichever way you want it. Well, anyhow, Trump, the pictures, I'm with you. Just look at that. And unfortunately, I'm ready to hear about some serious legal matters. I want to know. This should be concerning to all Americans, however you feel about it. It's it's legal. This is the court system. This is how the democracy is supposed to work. We're supposed to look at it and examine it. So we want to know precisely all the ramifications, what he's been accused of, what the lawyers are saying. I want to hear it all. But pretty much all I heard about this week is he go about passing gas. That's what we're hearing about.
Also him fall asleep.
Well, he fall asleep, that's understandable. He's 77 years old. He's bored in there. Ain't nothing going on. He falls. Of course, that's natural, I guess. You pass gas, you fall asleep. That's what's going to happen. And we know what he eats like. You know, you see him eat the table, all that stuff all the time. And I ain't disparaging him for that because I do the same thing. But, you know, because I do the same thing, I know in points of my life, it's been very unpleasant to be around me if I have, it's completely natural, sort of happen, that sort of thing happen.
Is that why it's unpleasant to be around you?
It don't happen all the time. I'm just, when it does, I ain't sitting there doing it all day long.
I can't imagine what it's like to sit next to Trump, no matter what's coming out of him. But I'm going to say that he's one of these people that there's a mix of smells that I would have thought you weren't going to be able to top one. There's just a mix of odors coming out of him, just like a stank Frankenstein. And you just, it's all bad. But apparently, whatever's seeping through his drawers in trial is even worse than you could imagine.
Overrides it all. It overrides whatever the spray tan smells like, because that stuff has a smell, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff, you put the stuff in your hair, whatever that is, or the hair itself, whatever that is, that's going to have a smell.
Who knows? Who knows what all that is? The spray tan probably smells like Bengay and Pina Colada.
Yeah.
Which ain't, that's pleasant to me, imagining it right now. As I said it, I'm like, well, that ain't so bad.
Well,
that's where we're all headed. We're lucky if we wind up smelling like Bengay and Pina Colada. But then there's a lot of other stuff going on in there.
Well, what kind of cologne do you think he used or splash on him?
That's a good question. We could have lived in a world where we had a celebrity Trump presidency, and he didn't fuck nothing up.
Hey.
And he just did the stuff like newspaper articles talking about what kind of cologne he wears. So I'm sure there's somewhere, maybe somebody wrote up what kind of cologne Trump wears. But there's a world where he just became a celebrity president and didn't do nothing wrong, didn't hurt nobody, didn't inspire insurrection.
Yeah.
And we just learned about, like, all the things he always wanted to put in the gossip columns in the 80s. It would have been like that. We just read about him, puff pieces about him every day. That would have been, man, I wish we lived in that world.
You know who else probably would have preferred that? His own damn self.
Yeah.
He would have, he don't know how to do it any better. No, instead it's going to be Charlottesville. It's going to be, the insurrection. It's going to be, Ukraine, Putin. That's what it's going to be. He would have been better off. He wouldn't be in court for right now. That's for damn sure.
Doesn't he make his own cologne? I mean, he ain't over there sweating over a vat. I mean, he's...
Another country's putting it back. He don't wear his own cologne. Hell.
You don't think he wears Trump cologne? Trump scent?
Can't see. Does his daughter wear her own clothes that you buy in Kmart? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Are they still Kmarts?
Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't think it's Kmarts anymore. Is it Walmarts now?
Another victim of Biden.
Yep, took out Kmart. But in his defense, he took out Kmart, but he gave us 8 more Walmarts in town. So
that's true.
You don't just, you can, like I said, drive any part of town, you're going to get to one. Every which way, east, west, south, southwest, east, west. You're going to hit a Walmart. Some of them big enough where they go cross that, but then, they also just, all over town. It's
like in Las Vegas, you can go in one casino, you wind up in another casino, you've been through tunnels, you don't know what time it is. The ceiling looks like the sky, and then they block the sky out with tarps with designs on them of people, of money, subliminal money, put money in the thing. That's what it's like in Walmarts now. You start out in one Walmart and you wind up in another one. All of a sudden you're in Lebanon.
You go there and buy a fan, yeah. You
wind up in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Trump time.
Trial. Court.
Court.
Trump trial.
Well, who happened, the last time all they did is spent time, him, jury, all this, he keeps, what do you call it? Contempt of court, talks about people he ain't supposed to, witnesses, all that stuff.
Ain't they find him for that? Every time I hear about it, well, the judge is gonna tell him, and the prosecution says, oh, he's done it again. Yeah. But what happens? Nothing?
Well, first off, I think he's thinking on it right now. They had a thing this week.
The judges are thinking on it?
He's thinking on it.
He didn't have a plan going into this about...
he probably should have. But he's coming. It's the third time he's been in a court. You should know by now. But anyhow, he's busy, too. He's a judge. They ain't got time to watch everybody else trial. They got their own to look at. But no, they had hearing about it. Trump said this, Trump said that, Twitter, or whatever it does, Truth Socials, whatever. And he said, well, let me think on that. So that's coming, I guess, next week. We'll find out. That'll be our next episode of Trump Trial.
Trump Court.
With court.
Is there a chance Trump could wind up in jail just for running down and threatening?
He'd have to. First off, they said it costs you $1,000. That's what the fine would be normally for somebody. So he could sit there, and I know people say, "Oh, he ain't got this much money or that much." He got $1,000. I guarantee he got that. He probably got that in his shoe. So he could sit there and basically do that over and over again because the whole thing for him is just a publicity. He has to be there. He ain't happy about that, but since he has to be, he's gonna use it. So he's like, I get to make a scene. I bring up this, whatnot, and it don't cost him. That's like, how much would it cost him to do ads, political ads, and air it on TV? How much would that cost him to pay Fox to run it or whatever? It's going to be a lot more than $1,000. So he can sit there and it goes out to the entire damn world. So I don't know how long you can keep doing that.
He's saying, I think this outlaw thing done got out of hand as far as Trump goes. They didn't think he would ever. We say this all the time.
Yeah.
But whoever, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, all them motherfuckers, they didn't think this was going to happen.
Watch your mouth.
They too busy, buying slaves for one thing.
Doing other stuff with him too.
Yeah, they had a lot going. Their minds were occupied, but they wouldn't have. Despite their everything else crooked about them, you couldn't have explained to them this crookedness It wouldn't have made sense. Well, he would never get elected president. It's kind of like the Supreme Court. Their argument is, well, they're fine. He's fine. He ain't gonna do nothing. Look, you see, or Billy Bob Barr.
Billy Bob Barr, yep.
He's like, oh, well, he tried, but he didn't do it. So I guess I'll vote for him again.
I'm going to vote for him again. Worst president ever was. Should be anywhere near the White House. Never again. The insurrection. I'm going to vote for him. I'll vote for him.
That'll make no sense. People still can't believe it's happening, even as it's done happened. And it's going to happen again.
It's keep happening. In the polls today, well, your CNN poll having much you want to invest in that. 49 Trump, 43 Biden.
It's pretty high for Biden.
It is, but he's doing good. We'll see. I don't know if they can pull it out, but we'll see what happens. Lord knows.
Like them 90-year-olds that, hobble through halfway of a 5K run. They're like, well, we give them a medal anyway. But ain't gonna help nobody.
No. I'm sure he gets a medal every time he falls off a bicycle. It don't help the country none, anyway. Well, at least you ain't got to sit in a freezing cold courtroom.
Yeah, Trump gets cold in that courtroom.
He gets out. He's so mad about they're destroying democracy. Biden is going after a political point. This is the end of America, and I'm cold as hell on top of all that. I tell you what, it's cold in there. He keep coming out. Just cold as hell. He's still managing to fall asleep in it. It must not be that cold. You figure, when you're supposed to stay awake. And I drive my truck. Have to drive, had one time I had to get up to Knoxville and all the way back down and then hit Chattanooga. I had to deliver something years ago. And then you stay awake, put that cold air on you. Keep you awake. Make sure you get there and back. But I'm assuming that's what you do in the courtroom. Keep everybody awake. Jurors awake, everybody. Get cold as hell, but he's still managing to take a nap or two. Do you think his lawyers, because it was last week that he was passing gas the whole time, this and that, do you think his lawyers had a discussion with him or tell him he got to find a way not to do that when the jurors are actually seated?
Smelling?
Yeah.
No. How you going to tell him? You can't tell him nothing.
Can't tell him nothing. Well, I would find out that he ripped off National Enquirer like he ripped off everybody else. He didn't pay Pecker again. That's reading Stormy Daniels didn't get a story. What you catch it and kill it. Story. National Enquirer. But the Playboy lady did. Sarah Huckabee, now Governor Sarah Huckabee, she was answering the phone, Pecker calling up and goes, well, he's pregnant now, and I still need to keep this story under wraps that he never paid me for this Playboy medal. Can I publish it now and make that money back that I paid her a lot of money? Oh, no. She said, you got to keep that quiet. And then I think put Hope Hicks on the phone with him and tell him we'll pay him later or whatever. I don't think she said that. Shit, we'll find out. Hope Hicks, now, you remember her, don't you?
Yeah. We talked about her last time, I think.
I think we did. I can't be anyhow. She going to be on there talking sometime, maybe this week, next week sometime. So I reckon we'll have an exciting episode of Trump trial, Trump court.
Trump trial.
Come next week, we'll hear about it, whether how many times he go to the bathroom, whatever it is, fall asleep, whatever he going to do. That'll be next week on Trump court. Trial.
Court.
Okay. No, wait, it's trial, isn't it?
Trump court.
All right, Jackie, it's time for a Tennessee break.
Tennessee break.
All right, Tennessee break.
A lot of stuff has happened in Tennessee that we ain't had chances to talk about on here. Tennessee tried to ban vaccines in lettuce. You know how they're putting all the vaccines in lettuce?
Oh, yeah, they're vaccinating.
Not in Tennessee.
Well, not anymore. No, sir.
Ban chemtrails. They want to make sure that the government's not... These people are the government. And they just really reading off what's on Facebook that the government's doing. But they are the government in Tennessee.
There's ways for them to find out what they're doing their own selves, right?
But
they
think it's just Facebook telling them.
Well,
a lot of these people are just like your grandfathers on Facebook, and somehow they got elected. Vaccines and lettuce, no go in Tennessee. Chemtrails, not in the beautiful blue skies of Tennessee. Can you marry your first cousin? Not anymore. Not in Tennessee. That's something they did. You didn't know how to answer that, did you?
No, I did.
They will not let you. There were a couple people tried to defend it, say, hold on now. This ain't the freedom I signed up for in my Constitution.
I think my wife has a few words to say about this.
Right. You never know. That's the thing. What if you accidentally marry your cousin? What if you don't marry your cousin, but you just fool around a little bit? What if you don't touch your cousin in a sexual way, but you hire people, pick people up in bars to do it to your first cousin while you watch?
What?
Is that legal?
Hey.
Well, we'll have to save that for future legislative tours of duty, because right now they had their hands full arming teachers.
I'm about to say, teachers are about to have their hands full with guns.
You know how teachers are always like, well, I had to buy my own school supplies for class this year, and this time it'll be ammunition. Is the government supplying these guns?
That's what I want to know, too. And also, listen to this now. This is what they want to make sure. Now, we're not just going to give teachers guns willy-nilly. We're going to make them take training classes. They're going to pass, prove that they are capable of using a firearm.
Yeah. 40 hours of school policing training.
Yep.
Background check. Submit fingerprints to state and federal authorities.
Sure.
Submit a psychological certification from a licensed health provider.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
What is this? Communist Russia?
Well,
how come if somebody said this about anybody else except teachers, people be like, "What? No,
no, sir.
No, sir. NRA. I have my rights. My rights include not being checked out to see if I should have a gun when I want a gun. That's my right."
I think there's probably a couple of teachers in Tennessee who were already packing, more than likely, who are going to fight this just like you said right there. I think there will be. Like, how come I've been in the military for starters, I know how to handle a firearm. I ain't going to take no damn class. I've been teaching middle school kids armed since, whatever. That's going to happen there. I guarantee you it's going to happen.
If teachers are already carrying guns in schools, are they allowed to, can they tell people that and then instead of getting in trouble, just not have to take all the tests? I've been carrying since 1976. Ain't nothing happened on my watch. So I'd prefer psychologists not find out what's going through my mind.
Well, sure. But I guarantee you, going back to what we talked about earlier, that's all got to come out of the teacher's pocket, all that training and whatnot. I mean, the government, they ain't going to pay for that.
Jackie, I'll tell you why teachers shouldn't have guns.
All right.
There's lots of people have reasons why teachers should have guns.
A lot of mobs marching on the Capitol, marching over to Governor Bill Lee's house. And Bill Lee had this big voucher thing that he was trying to get done, and unfortunately, bless his heart, he couldn't pull it off. So I think that he said he's going to sign this into law. This teacher, I think this is to get back. Well, by God, you don't give him a school voucher. Y'all going to get a gun. I think that's what that is.
Jackie, let me tell you why teachers shouldn't have guns.
All right.
At least 3 of my teachers told me if they had a gun, they'd shoot me. Right there. They said, I go through each and every one of my teachers and tell you why they shouldn't have a gun. And a lot of it is about them threatening to shoot me. I mean, if you get to a point where you're so frustrated, what's going to come out of your mouth and possibly be in your head and possibly happen if you have a gun on you is you're going to try to shoot me. A lot of people have threatened me with that. And a lot of them are teachers, even teachers I didn't even have. And listen, I'll tell you what, it ain't just about threatening me with a gun. Miss Tacktop lost her license, a bunch of DUIs. Then she drove a 3-wheeler through the liquor barn. Should she have a gun? Mrs. Brinson tried to whoop Jerry Couch with a belt in class and then had to have her preacher beg the principal to get her job back. Well, what if she'd had a gun?
Yeah.
Mrs. Glendon, she was my first black teacher. They're not going to give her a gun.
Well,
they won't. There's just not going to. She was cool.
Not, yeah,
she ain't going to get a gun.
Well, probably not here. Yeah.
Miss Bernard was it January 6th? Coach Grilly did have a gun. I mean, he had it on him. He lost it in the teacher's lounge bathroom all the time. It fell out of them stretchy pockets of them little blue shorts. They all have reasons not to have guns, but you can't follow that thought through because then there's reasons for everybody not to have guns. I mean,
well, if you get into it, yeah, they're trying to, like you said, weed a few of them out, like, psychological tests, fingerprints, on and on like that. You can't have some crazy teacher having a gun, can you?
So this is all because a year ago they shot up a school in Nashville, and people were like, we got to do something. And even Governor Bill Lee was like, yeah, let's have a special session and let's see what we can come up with. And what they came up with was arming the teachers.
Mothers who lost their loved ones, they've just been marching on the Tennessee Capitol for I don't know how. Please do something. God, please do something. We can't have this in our school. We can't have another school shooting. Something needs to be done. Things are out of hand. And what have they done? Yeah, this is the answer to that. And also, I think they're trying to pass open carry on assault weapons. I don't know if they got that off the ground yet, but there literally was somebody said, well, I don't know, we need to be able to carry your assault weapon wherever you want to. This is what they're doing in response. And, of course, arresting many times. Now, here in Tennessee, we had some white supremacists march upon the Capitol. Didn't seem nobody get upset about it. Let them do it. They were fine to do it. They did the business and went on. But every day that Tennessee state troopers are dragging these mothers, begging these legislators to do something for the families, dragging them to jail. Every day. Tennessee here's a mess, by the way, if you didn't know. And that's why we had this Tennessee break. Well, we probably, unfortunately, have to have a few more.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of Tennessee breaks, I think. They probably should give guns to black teachers. Black women teachers, like Miss Glendon. She should, I think we've said that before, we should arm black women. Nobody gets nothing except for black women. I think we'd probably solve a lot of problems.
That's how to handle a situation. Yeah, I think so.
Tennessee break.
A little bit more news about Trump. Well, sort of. Kind of talk about him. Looks like his top choice for vice president. That's Governor Kristi. Noem? How you say your name? Is it Noem?
I think that's right.
Noem?
Yeah.
Not with the G, not like a no, but like, something. Like Noel, but with a M or N. Anyhow, now look, I'm going to try to get through this, talk about this. It's been in the news, and this is hard for me to talk about. This stuff like this, you do something animal, you're going to get under Jackie Bro's, no, you going to get his damn to all of it up. I just can't handle that sort of thing. I watch Animal Planet all day. The only time I like seeing an animal get hurt or killed is when another animal does it. When it's two animals. And I'm talking about when they eat them. I'm not talking about dog fights and nothing like that. I'm talking about when an animal's hungry and eats another one, and that's how it happens in the wild, and ain't no human involved in it in any way, shape, or form except for taking a picture of it or a movie of it. That's it. Nothing else. Lion get a zebra. It's still sad, but, that's life. That's how it is. But I tell you what ain't life, or shouldn't be, is dragging a puppy to, a gravel pit? Is that what she does, all this stuff?
If you're killing something in a gravel pit, that right there should tell you something.
Something ain't right.
That's where Tony Soprano goes when they're going to kill somebody.
They go take my puppy that don't act right. I don't like this dog. I think she said I hate the dog. Now, first off, you can put it this way if you want. Like, you all turned liberals and you're just spinning this. Y'all from the country. Y'all know, y'all spinning this story. She put this in a book. I didn't come up with it. I didn't want to know this.
Listen, they some people saying, these city folk, they just don't know what it's like to live in the country. Listen, I don't know what it's like to live in the country. Little House on the Prairie times. I know things is different in the country. The horse didn't break a leg. This is like she had a personality conflict with this is who shouldn't have a gun. I hope she was never a teacher. Because she should not have a gun around any animals.
I don't.
She's not at the zoo.
Nope.
She get mad. Listen, I know sometimes people who grew up in the country, it's different ways dealing with animals. Of course, now you got shelters and Facebook, and get on there and say, anybody want a dog? I mean, maybe you say, you're not going to say, anybody want a dog before I throw a sack of them in the fucking creek?
Hey, what's
you
the mouth?
keep that to yourself now at this point. Even if you've thrown, let's say you're 98 years old and you've thrown sacks upon sacks of puppies in the damn river, trying to keep the population low, whatever. You don't put it in your book. Maybe you put it in your book, but you ain't trying to become vice president, and then you get mad at liberals.
You put it in your private, personal book on killing puppies. You don't want it published.
Right. You just, like, you hide it, you call it something else on your computer, like taxes, and that's where you keep all your stories about killing puppies. This woman, I can't believe, like...
And it's a book. Like, now, books, it ain't just one person I write a book. There's like, well, you got editors, publisher. Like, how many people did this go through and nobody say, maybe this section is not particularly relevant to your life or whatnot? I'm going to almost guarantee you somebody had to tell her that and said, no, sir.
The dog killing stays in.
This is one of my most profound experiences in my lifetime, was dragging that puppy to a gravel pit and shooting it in the head.
Maybe she's like, well, you think people aren't going to respond to that? Because I think it shows leadership. I don't understand why maybe they could have told her, do it OJ style. If I shot this dog, here's how I would have done it. But she didn't even do that. No, I shot the dog. They probably had to talk her out of calling the book that. The dogs I shot, plus a goat.
Don't get me started now. Don't get me worked up. Now, let's give her due. Well, it ain't due. Let's just tell you what she said. The dog couldn't hunt good, and then it killed some chickens of the neighbors. I'm sorry, neighbors, that your chickens are dead. Here's some money. I'm going to go kill this dog now. No, that's not what you do. You take a dog, get it trained. If you give a damn about the dog, you try to train it. You know, things like that happen. Dogs get out of hand. The high-spirited animals, those bird dogs, they got a lot of energy. That's what they do. You got to learn how to handle it. You couldn't handle it, you don't go shoot it. Anyway, and she goes into detail, too. There's a construction site across the street. They was watching me do it. Like, oh, what's that woman doing? And then the bus pulled up with my kids. The dog was named Cricket, by the way. God rest his soul, Cricket. Her daughter, child, boy, well, I don't know, gets off the bus and said, Mama, where's Cricket? She had to add that part to the story. The story is not complete until my child knows I have murdered this dog. I don't want the world. My child had to know that I murdered that dog before the world does.
And I want the world to know that my child had to know that I murdered that dog.
Yeah. That's part of the story.
And I want my child to know that I told the world that he knew as soon as he got off that bus that I'd killed Cricket. And I want Trump to know, what is Trump thinking? Like, he's had a bad week already.
Well, yeah.
And he's tired. He can't keep his stomach having problems. He just messed up. But he's like, but you know what? I'm going to have a good-looking vice president. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, nice-looking
man
lady.
or woman. It's sexist. I mean, he's sexist, but I'm just saying. He's happy. He's like, I'm going to get this South Dakota woman. And then the dog killing stuff comes out. And you know Trump hates dogs.
Well, he don't give a damn about them one way or another. He don't like any animal, but he don't give a damn whether you kill them, live or die. Yeah.
No, he could not. You could just pile them up, set them all on fire. As far as he cares, he'd be like, look at the flames go. But he knows that if you tell people you killed a dog, you cannot be his vice president.
He don't know a whole lot, but I think that much is he could fathom. I think so.
It ain't like separating families at the border, anything like that. It's dogs.
It's not, sexually accosting a woman in a dressing room.
No, it's killing a dog.
It's killing a dog.
So why, Jackie, how many goats did she kill?
Oh, I'm trying to get through this without talking about that part. She said this goat was ornery, and she also said the goat smelled filthy, stinky. And also, it's also like, if basically the story is she had a bloodlust from shooting a dog in the head, what other animals I got around here? Give me that filthy, stinky goat. Well, lady, you wash a goat. You wash and clean a goat. You groom a goat. You get that goat looking good and shiny and smelling fine. And I guarantee you that goat's going to be a lot less ornery. Don't know the first thing about goats. But get this. I killed a dog. Give me that goat. Bring that goat over here. I still got some bullets. Let's do it. Well, it turns out she didn't have enough because shot the goat, couldn't kill the goat. Goat laying there suffering. Make sure you put this in the book. I want everyone to know exactly how I murdered this goat after the dog. This is an important part. Had to walk to my truck, get some more ammo, load it back in, walk back over there and make sure that goat was dead. Hopefully it wasn't too long a walk. Hopefully goat didn't suffer that long. But if it did suffer, so be it. It was a filthy, stinky animal.
This is why teachers shouldn't have guns right here. Like, you get going, it's like paddling. Remember, they'd paddle somebody and say, you want one? Imagine them with a class full of dogs and goats. And we already know this is why she can't be Trump's VP. We already established what he smells like. What do you think she's going to do to him?
Oh, good Lord. First time they're up on stage together for a long period of time after he, had some tacos or burrito, whatever it is he eats.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, Trump does not make the best decisions in this world.
No.
We've seen that. So if he does pick Kristi, the puppy-killing goat murderer, to be his vice president, and Mr. Trump, if she ever says, hold on a second, I got to run out to my truck, I'll be right back, you get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You're not my favorite person.
No, not at all.
But there's nobody I would wish to die at the hands of Kristi Noem.
Absolutely not. No, sir.
Not a puppy, not a goat, not even you, sir.
Secret Service says we need to pull over here at this gravel pit, Mr. President.
Do not go to the gravel pit with her.
Don't get out of the car.
Do not do it.
Don't.
I hope you tell this at campaign. And they came to me with tears in their eyes and they said, sir, do not get out of the gravel pit with Kristi Noem.